or governor of California in 2026. A senior aide to President Donald Trump, who's made a lot of waves nationwide, may return to California to run. We'll give you the odds and we'll tell you who he is. I'm Carl DeMaio, chairman of Reform California and a California state representative, representing District 75 in the state assembly. And my friends, I've got great news. Well, it's not official yet. I hope it happens. Not official yet. But my good friend, Rick Grenell, former ambassador to Germany in the Trump administration, the first Trump administration, a senior envoy this administration, formerly a member of President Trump's cabinet, as director of national intelligence in the last administration, all around great guy and a warrior. He dropped a bombshell over the weekend while he was visiting Europe on behalf of President Trump. The media asked him about California politics. And he said, if Kamala Harris runs for governor, she can be beat. And that is something that we have said on this podcast repeatedly. On Friday, I gave you the polling showing that if she jumped in the race, she would get like 55% immediately of the vote to become the Democrat nominee. She would clear the field because she just ran for vice president. She failed spectacularly. She's inept. She's incompetent. But Democrats are stupid. They like to double down on dumb. And by golly, she brings a lot of dumb to the table. So she would be their nominee right out of the gate if she ran. But you and I both know that word salad queen is corrupt and inept, and she would be the weakest Democrat candidate of all of them. And Rick Grenell has basically said he thinks that she can be beat. So much so that he said if she ran, that he would consider running for California governor. Now, remember, Rick Grenell, who's got a lot of support amongst the grassroots. Everyone loves him. I've known him for 20 years. He's a good personal friend of mine. He'd make a rock star governor. He'd clean up the mess overnight. And he's a formidable candidate. Even though people say, well, he's a Republican, he can't win. You don't understand. Rick Grenell runs circles around the Democrats and the media. And very much like Trump, he throws it right back in their face in a way that resonates with average Joe and Jane voter, just like Trump. More importantly, he's not your typical Republican. He's a gay Republican. And again, it makes it hard for people to demonize him as somehow a homophobe or a hater. And Democrats hate it when they see a Latino or an African-American Republican or a gay Republican or a female Republican run, because it challenges their ism, their identity politics approach to try to divide us and separate us and foment hate and fear amongst different groups. It makes it harder. And so he's a formidable candidate. Here is California Globe's coverage of Rick Grenell putting his name out there. Quote, Special Presidential Envoy Rick Grenell considers run for governor if Harris enters 2026 race. Should Grenell run? He is probably the GOP's best shot against Harris. Absolutely agree with that. He was asked by a reporter about the California governor's race. He says, that's a hot topic. I'll make a little news. Depends upon if Kamala Harris runs. If Kamala Harris runs for governor, I believe she has such baggage and hundreds of millions of dollars in educating voters of how terrible she is that it's a new day in California and that the Republican actually has a shot. And I wouldn't say no. I am so excited. Now, remember, Grenell toyed around with running for governor in 2021 in the recall. I dialogued with him about it. Ultimately, he said he needed to continue to serve President Trump in his race to get back in the White House, and felt that he could do a lot more on the outside in key Senate races. He's been instrumental in taking the control of the Senate back from the Democrats nationwide, and been doing a lot of good work out here in California, including registering Republicans. Not that the Republican Party is doing any of that. That's all been Rick Grenell doing that on the ground. And at Reform California, we are proud to have been collaborating and partnering with Rick Grenell on the work that he's doing. I would like to see him run for governor. There are several other candidates on the Republican side thinking about running for governor. But I think if Rick got in, he would clear the field overwhelmingly right out of the gate. And of course, as I mentioned, he would have our undying support, our aggressive support. Right now at reformcalifornia.org, I want you to weigh in. Would you support Rick Grenell? We have a poll at the top of our website. Poll, who should be governor in 2026? Rick Grenell, Chad Bianco, Steve Hilton. Those are your choices. Please take the poll. Let me know, because at Reform California, we want to hear from our supporters and the California voters what they would like to see happen. And of course, your input is very meaningful to us. Also, while you're on that website, please make sure that you're signed up to get updates on California news and politics. We are doing all sorts of work to recruit candidates up and down the state, not just for governor, but every statewide office, all the way down to school board, including state assembly and state senate, to break the Democrat supermajority control of the legislature. But you've got to get part of this effort. You've got to be part of our effort. Sign up at the bottom, and we'll send you an email once a week on Fridays, our Friday news roundup. First name, last name, email, phone, zip code. You will then be tethered into our movement to keep yourself informed as to how we're fighting to take back our state from far left insanity. Having Rick Grenell run for governor would be an amazing development. So check it out and join the fight. Until next time, I'm Carl DeMaio, Chairman of Reform California and a California State Representative. Thanks for watching, and I hope you enjoyed this episode. But before you click away, please subscribe to this channel and click that notification button so you get updated when we post new episodes. Plus, like this video and share it with your friends so that we can help spread our message across the state. Reform California with Carl DeMaio is paid for by Carl DeMaio for State Assembly.